Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first podcast from Mintment. My name is Matt, and this is Angelina. We're both working on Mintment. Angelina is our amazing clinical psychologist who is behind all the interactive activities and also many of the custom meditations. How are you doing today, Angelina?
Quite fine, thank you. Yeah, I actually kind of was a bit anxious about this, but I am pretty excited, so I'm ready to start.
Same here, actually. First podcast ever. Let's hope everything goes well. I was also pretty anxious, and anxiety is also the topic of today's podcast. So, yeah, if you're ready, we can start.
Yeah.
Amazing. I would actually start with a quite unusual question. Are there any misconceptions or myths about anxiety that people have which you encountered in your practice?
Yeah, sure. Actually, not in my personal practice, but like just in real life, I have seen people talking about it and writing about it. And the greatest misconception about anxiety is that it should look something like this, but actually it can look just like a person just sitting, maybe doing nothing and looking pretty normal, but still being very, very anxious inside. And I want to mention that the same goes to depression. So people think that depression is when you just lie down and cry all the time, but you can look normal again from the side, but still be depressed. And with anxiety, it's the same. So, like with any psychological condition, with any state of your psyche, it has a lot of different phases. You can experience it however you want, or maybe don't want, but still, however. So if you feel anxious, you feel anxious, and it doesn't matter how it looks from the side. However, yes, of course, there are some signs that can tell you that you are anxious if you struggling with identifying what you're feeling. But still, it's not always the same for everyone, so it can be different.
So, if we, it's for all of us, the anxiety can mean something slightly different, right, or quite different, and how we experience it, as you said. So, and can we spot it on some changes in our life, whether it's our performance overall at work or in our hobbies in life, or something related to our mood, energy, or changes in our relationships? Is there some kind of master or a template that could tell us, or some signs that could tell us, okay, most likely what we're experiencing is actually anxiety?
Yeah, yeah. So again, one of the phases is irritation. So you cannot understand that you feel anxious about something. Maybe it's something big, maybe it's something that will happen to you, some event that you know that will be, and you don't link your state to this event, but you feel irritated all the time. So, for example, somebody asks you something harmless like "How are you?" and you just snap right at them. So things like this. Um, so it's not very obvious. It can be not very obvious. Also, as you said, yeah, it can be. You can feel pretty tired all the time without actually maybe doing a lot of things. But it's like in that meme with I don't remember the name of the animal who is just running and screaming all the time. So like you're
Yep.
not doing anything special, but you are busy running inside of you and screaming in anxiety. So that's why you feel pretty tired. So also you may struggle with concentration. So simple things can feel hard, and you cannot concentrate and do something like something that requires maybe a lot of time, like just to sit and do, for example, read a book, or even for pleasure. That's, by the way, an important thing. So if you feel anxious about something big, so this is big anxiety, even things that you want to do and that you like can be hard. And also, there are some physical symptoms, of course. So it can be stomach ache of different kinds. It can be sweating. Also, usually people feel sweaty in their palms and their feet, but it also can be just like full body sweat, also for some people. Again, it is pretty personal. So, what else? Nausea. I guess that a lot of students experience it. They feel nauseous before the exam, and also stomach pain and sweating. Yeah. And some kind of trembling, some kind of fidgeting. You probably have experienced it yourself. I definitely have. Like when you sit and you move your leg, for example,
Yep,
right?
yep. Many
Yeah,
many
yeah, yeah,
times
yeah.
today, many times.
Yes. This thing. So actually, you can. What I like about these legs and hands movement that it actually can help us relieve the anxiety. So like anxiety is tension basically, and when you do something with your body, you just relieve this tension. So this can be good, but it's better to make it consciously. So if you catch yourself doing this, you can just like, okay, I am anxious. I will just move my leg right now, and I will feel better. Just to refocus yourself. So yeah, long story short, this is it.
Okay. When you were mentioning the fidgeting or the leg movements, I just realized, for example, today I think I had way too many espressos, and it just came to my mind like, can coffee actually influence our anxiety? Can it trigger the anxiety, or can it worsen it? Because for
Yes.
me, at least, I feel it. Yeah, that it has some kind of effect.
Yeah, it definitely can. There was this one time I was scrolling the news, and there were like literally two news pieces, just one by one. And so the first one was like, coffee is killing you, and the next one is like, coffee is good for your health. And actually, they both are right. It depends on how much coffee do you consume. So if you drink too much, yes, it can lead to anxiety, especially if it is espresso. Yeah. And if you drink just like 2 cups, I don't remember the exact amount. And again, I guess that this is pretty subjective. So there is like this balanced amount of coffee that you can consume that will be good for your health. But if you exceed it, then probably it will lead to anxiety and won't be so good for you.
Hmm. So now we kind of know how to spot anxiety, or what can help us see that anxiety is the problem for us. But is there, if we could look at it from the other side, is there something good about anxiety? Can it be actually beneficial for us in some way?
Yeah, definitely, it can be beneficial. First of all, because anxiety usually you feel it and you have some cause for it. Again, like with an exam or with I don't know, new job, moving to another country, another city, or just another flat, whatever. So when you feel anxious, it means that something is actually bothering you. And when you find and when you catch this anxiety, you can like thread it and find the source of it. And sometimes you actually can just solve the problem. So, for example, if you feel anxious about the exam, you just what? You just prepare for this exam, and you just know your weak spots and just learn them better, or something like this. Also, sometimes, of course, there is nothing you can do with this anxiety because sometimes it's things or events that you cannot control, something beyond your control, beyond your reach. And then you just need to calm yourself.
So I guess the calming myself in these events, it can be done through some breath exercises, for example, or some meditation, right, or some activity.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also, well, I think that it's important to say that when you feel anxious, the worst thing that you can do is like trying to just refocus completely on something else, because and it goes to anything that you feel, anything unpleasant. It's very important. So when you run from something you feel, it will chase you, it will haunt you. So no refocusing, just on the spot. First of all, you should identify it. Yeah. So okay, I feel anxious. I feel this. What are my symptoms? Just like self-check. Yeah. Am I sweating? Am I fidgeting? Am I doing whatever? Because again, even for one person, it can be different each time. So just to check what is happening to you, what is your level of anxiety, and then just let yourself feel it for just a couple of seconds at least, and then try to find, yeah, why is it happening and what can you do to calm yourself. Because again, there are different situations. There are something that you are able to do only at home. For example, brew yourself a cup of coffee if it's normal coffee. Yeah, no,
Uh-huh.
not too much. Like lie down to your bed or whatever. And something that you can do, you can't do when you are somewhere in public, and there are people around you.
Here you mentioned something interesting. For many, brewing the coffee can be the safe zone, right? The thing that they do when they want to calm themselves. But often also what you can see is that people reach out for the bottle of something stronger than a coffee and alcohol. Is I guess that's not the way how to do it, right? How to calm yourself.
Yeah, alcohol is never an answer. Alcohol can be good when you don't drink too much, when you do it just for pleasure, some small amounts, somewhere around people to celebrate or whatever. So like when you don't feel drunk. So if you're not drunk, it's okay. Something like this, yeah. And by the way, yeah, why I mentioned coffee, because it comes from my personal experience. So I really love coffee, and I love everything that is around this whole process. So just the very process of grounding the beans, of pouring water, and all this, and the sounds that my coffee machine makes when it's brewing my coffee, it's all calming me, and it gives me like this pause in the long run of things that I need to do and the things that are bothering me, and I'm just steadying myself and like, okay, I'm brewing coffee, that's fine, I can just relax for a bit, and then I will be able to continue my day and get things done. So it's more about process. It can be tea, it can be whatever. One of my clients had a very, very stressful period in her life, and there was nothing. She was in another country. She was alone. She had to do a lot of things with the documents, and it was very hard for her. And we decided that the best thing for her is to just have a cup of tea and just go. She had a little like garden near her house, and so she just went to this garden and just sat there for a couple of minutes and just drank this tea. And it was the best way for her, because again, all this like process, there was nothing else she could do. There were a lot of things were beyond her reach and beyond her control, and she had to steady herself somehow. So this was her variant. This was her way.
I guess for many it might also be, for example, music, right, or a short walk in some green surrounding.
Hmm.
That's at least for what helps for me, or listening to some good podcasts. So maybe some of the people will listen to this podcast as their grounding method. Let's see.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um,
To each their
so
own.
mhm, exactly. So. Um, you know, what would you say is the main difference about the anxiety we spoke about, we both felt, for example, today, before this podcast, and the anxiety, that just doesn't go away, that sticks to us, because that anxiety usually, for me, most of the time, it just goes away with some help of some techniques, or with time. However, the problem is when it doesn't go away, right? When just we can't get rid of it. What would you say is the main difference between those, and when it starts becoming a bigger problem than just a momentary or daily anxiety?
Mhm. Well, the first thing you have already mentioned, actually, it is the time. So, how long does it last? So, like normal, like good anxiety, which is situational. Yeah, so you have something to worry about and you worry. That's it. The situation ended and you just go and live your life happily. Um, so, this is normal. And if something is bothering you, maybe on another level, so there can be just underlying cause, something really bad, some trauma from the past, or maybe like ongoing trauma, yeah, like a traumatic situation in general. So it can lead to this long lasting anxiety and to anxiety disorder, actually. Also, it is intensity, actually. So like this anxiety disorder often have panic attacks. So it's basically stems from anxiety itself. Sometimes it has underlying cause, so some kind of trauma, some kind of trigger. For example, something bad happened to a person in an underground, and every time that something maybe even distinctly remotely reminds them of this, some sounds or some visuals, and so they can start experiencing this panic attack, so feel bad about it. uh, what else? Yeah, so intensity or this like splashes, I would say. like fireworks of anxiety in a bad way. And the time. Yeah. Oh, by the way, and also,
Uh-huh.
it also can be like a neurological problem in a lot of cases. So like again with depression, so they are pretty linked to each other, anxiety and depression. It can be something wrong with your with biochemistry of your brain, and so then you won't be able to like breathe it out and to calm it with techniques. Yeah. So in general, it depends on the cause. So if your anxiety is situational, you can just deal with the situation or calm yourself in this situation and you will be okay. If the cause is underlying something, again, from your past trauma or whatever, or it is something biochemical, then you need different techniques, different ways of dealing with it.
Then I guess it's really about going to see a professional and getting a real professional help, right, with that, because
Yeah,
that's very serious. Okay,
yeah.
you already mentioned that there is a connection, like close connection to depression.
Mhm.
Is there? How would you describe the connection? Does it mean that when I, don't treat anxiety, I can develop depression, or does it go side by side, or is anxiety a symptom of depression also? And is there a link to any other mental health issues than just depression?
Mhm. Well, I would say all of the above. Everything that you have mentioned can actually be. Again, it depends on the person, and usually in a lot of cases, depression and anxiety they go together. So it's anxiety and depression disorder. But it can be separated. Yeah, you can just be anxious without depression. That's a good news, actually. So what else I would say is that a lot of people with ADHD feel anxious in a lot of cases, and people who are on autistic spectrum also feel anxious about a lot of things, mostly because they don't understand like how the world operates. So even those who are not completely autistic, but like able to communicate, able to be in the society, but still people struggle with a lot of different things, they feel anxious. Yeah. Oh, and um, PTSD too, post-traumatic disorder. Again, when something terrible happened, as my example with the underground, I don't know actually why it was the first thing that came to my mind, but still, okay. So, yeah, when there is some big trigger, people usually feel anxious like almost all the time, unfortunately. So, and they just like kind of waiting for something to happen again.
Okay, I see. That's then it's very difficult, I guess, for people who have this trigger and, for example, live in a city where there is a subway to avoid it, right? Because there will be a lot of triggers similar to subway,
Yeah.
even if you avoid subway, maybe a tram, maybe even a cars. So,
Mm-hmm.
how
Yeah.
would you say uh, the environment we live in and the environment we are in daily, uh, what role does it play in developing the anxiety, or not just developing but maybe furthering it, making it worse, or healing it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, healing it. Kinda, yeah. There are things that can heal a lot of things nowadays. Again, thanks to the internet, we are able to communicate, being in different countries, and there are a
Yeah.
lot of good things thanks to that. But unfortunately, yeah, our environment is not very healthy, and our life pace in general became faster for just like two decades, for the last 2 decades mostly. So all this technological burst brought us a lot of nice things like phones, well, smartphones. Yeah, so like you are able to uh, bring just the whole library with yourself. But on the other hand, yeah, there are social medias. And they make you feel anxious like all the time. And all these sounds, yes, you're right about trams and underground. A lot of sounds, a lot of like construction sites. So, for example, I don't know actually what it was, but there was some construction like. events near my house, and it was very loud, and it was just a constant for a couple of days. And of course, I felt anxious. I felt bad about it because of it. It wasn't like something that scared me. It wasn't something bad. I realized that nothing bad is happening, so it's not harmful or whatever. But still, the sound just dripping in my mind, it it made me anxious. Yeah. And so we have a lot of such things. And also, like, now I live in a country where there are not so many people, and it was a surprise for me, like for the first time when I moved here from Moscow. Like, it's the huge city with a lot of people. They're like just like swarming. And yeah, even before, so I used to live in Moscow for my whole life, and when I was what, like 20, I moved to suburbs. And I realized that whenever I go to Moscow from my quiet area, quiet and peaceful area, I feel bad every time. So each trip to Moscow made me more anxious. It gave me headaches and just mostly, yeah, it's contributed to my depression too, by the way. So yeah, all this people, sounds, and all this pace. Yeah, so people are pretty fast nowadays when in big cities, I mean.
Uh, uh, Very good point you said with the social media, because we always tend to hear, a lot of critics about social media now. Of course, there's many positives, that even the thing that we can keep in touch, that people can keep in touch with us when they have, for example, some problems on Mintment, already happened, and somebody just write you, and we are able to help them in under 2 minutes to solve it, or to proceed with it further. But everything is kind of, as you said, fast paced. Everything is quite instant. Like, you can order whatever, get it tomorrow. What, a few years back you would have to wait a week, for example, for it to come to your house. And we're never truly offline. What is your take on this, Angelina? And is there any tip you would give, like, I don't know, switch off your phone for 2 hours at least once a week and go to a forest, or is there some tip? You will have some personal one, because you said you moved to a calmer country, to where there's not so many people, and is that the way to go for at least a short time, to go somewhere like this? Or
Yeah, you said a very good thing about switching your phone. Yeah, like I want to scream like abandon social media at once. I am actually myself struggling right now with social media because I caught myself being there too much. So it's consuming my time and contributes to anxiety, of course, because also there are a lot of aggressive advertising. Like yeah, as you said, like you will order something and you will get it in 2 days, but also you need to buy it like only today, only now, some obnoxious uh, okay, so, I forgot the word. So less price, okay.
okay, no worries.
Yeah, some smaller price only now, only today. Yeah, and of course it hurts actually. And so yeah, it would be really nice for people to make little getaways from time to time. Like if you are able, yeah, go somewhere to nature, like for a weekend. Just switch everything off and be in peace, be with yourself, be with your family, or maybe just yeah, just alone is also nice. But not everyone can do this. Not everyone has this nice circumstances to get away, but still it can be good to switch off your phone, to just tell yourself that okay, this, for example, hour I am not looking in any screen, not TV, not my laptop, not my tablet, not my phone. I'm just doing something in real life. And it can be hard, it can be difficult actually. I found very nice option in my phone, so I can make restrictions for different apps. So like I can yeah, force myself to be in an app only for a specific period of time, and then it just switches off and I cannot open it again. And it works good for me because I know that I caught myself multiple times trying to get back without even understanding it. So I'm just trying to click on the app, and my phone's like, no, you can't. And I'm like, thank you, thank you very much.
Same here. Yeah. What's your limit on Instagram, for example, or some social media?
It's 40 minutes for YouTube and 1 hour and a half for my social media platform. Well, Russian one, Contact. It's like Facebook, but for our part of the world. Yeah.
Nice, nice. I have 40 minutes on Instagram, and I'm still able to lower it, but on YouTube, sometimes when when you scroll the videos, the reels, the short ones, and Instagram bans me, like blocks me for the day, I just switch to YouTube and continue scrolling shorts,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel like I'm cheating the system, and I feel pretty
Mhm.
bad about it.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
that's
think,
why I have restrictions for both of them.
yeah, yeah, I need to do it also. Otherwise, it's kind of useless. But
Yeah.
I would say start, at least from my experience. If anyone who is watching this or listening this wants to try it, do it. Start with something you feel like you can actually do, and then keep lowering, maybe by 10 minutes, a few by, you know, every second day or every week, however you want. Because this is the way. If you set it too strictly, it's very hard, and it most
Hmm.
likely won't stick with you. So that's
Yeah.
just
Oh, and I also want to add actually about this shorts. For example, there are a lot of funny ones, like about cats, about just some funny things, whatever. And the point is to use it for good. So to use it for your health. It can be really nice to just dive into this shorts world and to watch something funny, to watch something nice and feel better. The point is to catch this moment when it stops entertaining you and you are just doing it mindlessly without actually feeling better, without actually contributing to anything. You just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And so yeah, it can be good, you can use it, but you need to be mindful about it. The same with social media too. So like sometimes I understand so why I have 1 hour and a half, because there are some things that I need to do, like post post my text, yeah, just check something, do something for work, and also just read something that I like, just for fun, and that's it. Nothing more, because there is this feed which can be just endless, and
it is. It is endless.
you can spend your whole day there.
I remember one time I was sick and I couldn't sleep, and I was just, past midnight, and there was nothing to do, and I felt very bad, and I was just scrolling that, it was a few years ago, and I couldn't reach the bottom. But once I refreshed, and I was like, okay, I've seen all of the stories, on Instagram. I've
Hmm.
seen all of the new posts. I hit the rock bottom. And I
Yeah.
was like, no, this is tragic. But I know that it was a few years ago, and I think most likely it's very hard to reach this, like, rock bottom when there's no new posts, no new stories, because I think there's so much new content being put out. So, and now especially, it was before there was the reels, the short videos, and those are endless. So it's pretty
Hmm.
hard nowadays to even get to the bottom, because there's no bottom, most likely. My thoughts. Yeah, let's say we get anxious. We're at work, at school, before an exam. We don't have much, moving space around. What can we do to lower the anxiety, like at the very moment? What, or like at least contribute to lowering it at the very moment, and like get some immediate support. Maybe not fully, but at least some.
That's funny. Because when you started saying this, I thought, well, yeah, now people will have Mintment, and we'll be able to just go there and yeah, get this immediate support and something immediate, yeah, to help relieve this. Okay, but
That's why
if
we
you
built
don't,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but okay, if you don't have it, if you have spent all the time you could have this day on your phone, and you cannot use it anymore,
No
uh,
midman
so
anymore. Yeah.
yeah, there should not be restrictions for Mintment, actually. Yeah, I guess.
I agree.
Yeah. So, what can you do? Again, it depends, of course, because meditations can be really good. they work for a lot of people, but I can say that for me, meditations don't work. Only these guided things. Again, why I do these guided meditations, because they work for me. And meditations like just relax, just let your thoughts flow and all this, it's not for me. It isn't working, actually. My husband, however, he had this app with the only meditations, and it really helped him to get through the rough patch in life, and it was really good. So you should find what works for you. So maybe it can be some kind of meditation. It can be breathing techniques. The most famous one is the square breathing, when you inhale for a couple of seconds, then you hold your breath, then exhale, and then you repeat it. And it should be like four counts. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, this can be good, and again it can be different. So for example, some people cannot hold breath for such a long time, or not comfortable with such a fast pace. So again, you can adjust it for yourself. What else? Oh, the simplest one: drink water. One of the things that I like, if you probably you have seen it in some videos or in some movies. So when a person is crying, when a person is like hysterical, they give them water just to drink, because you cannot drink and do anything else simultaneously at the same time. And so it can help just calm yourself a little bit. Do some stretches. And when I say it, I don't mean like a stretching workout or whatever. You can just do this, this, and that's enough. So maybe that's enough for you, maybe not. Again, don't restrict yourself. So simple things that actually can help you ground and feel yourself in your body. Because again, when we feel anxious, we are like mostly in our head, so in our thoughts. Something is bothering us, something is worrying, and sometimes we cannot even pinpoint what exactly it is, and we feel detached from ourselves, from like our whole life. We're just only in this situation of anxiety. And so to feel yourself back, you need to do something with your body. A stretch, sometimes just touching yourself helps, like this, embracing. And you can sit like this for a couple of moments and feel yourself, okay, I am here. I have me itself, at least. And this is,
Like a self hug.
yeah, like a self hug. It's actually very helpful. Yeah. What else? Yeah.
I think in Mintment we have the balloon technique, for example, that is
Yeah.
very my personal favorite, and 5
Mm-hmm.
objects, right, where you pinpoint the 5 objects of a certain color.
Mm-hmm.
Once it happened to me that I had to actually reload it, because there was a color. It gave me a color that I think it was red, and I was in a room that was just basically black and white. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just had to wait for I like swapped the red for a color that is actually present in the room. Otherwise, I would be sitting there until now. Uh, but uh, I like what you said, that for some people meditations just don't work. For example, for me, they also didn't used to work until I did the guided ones, and that's why we also added them into Mintment, right? Because we said, okay, most people might find it difficult with meditations, how to do it properly. Most people kind of struggle when they start, but the guided meditations, basically they guide you through the whole flow of the meditation, which is nice. And yeah, for me it was a deal breaker, these guided
Mm-hmm.
meditations, 10-15 minutes, and it feels like you restarted or refreshed. It's really really nice.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah. That's what I like about them. Like guided meditations, they are like a complete story. So there is um, yeah, so there is a feeling of of finishing something. So it has the start, it has the end, and you just like feel that you have achieved something, you have done something. It may be small, but still. And the meditations like just relax and observe your thoughts. They are like endless. You can do this for 1 minute, you can do this for half an hour, and like, so what? Well, nothing works ultimately. There are a lot of techniques, a lot of different things, and just feel free to adjust it to yourself, however you feel like it. So do whatever helps you.
Agreed. And I have to promote your meditations as my favorite ones also. You can try them in Mintment. I'm not sure all of them are in anxiety, but definitely all of them are in stress module and flamingo, tree meditation, and rainbow. And I know we also will be adding the cliff one, sitting on a cliff, and they are
Mhm.
my personal favorite. So
No,
I,
thank
I
you.
really I really love them. Yeah, they are amazing. And I'm not the only one. The people who were testing it before launch, which basically happened today, they also said that those were for example, flamingo is like something you don't expect from a normal meditation when you're a person who just hears about meditation. You expect to sit, the whole way, and this is not exactly what you find in Mintment, for example, with tree meditation or flamingo meditation. Amazing ones. Um,
Oh, thank you.
so what are some of the warning signs that my anxiety is escalating and is gonna hit some critical point, of a breakdown, or when it can actually turn into depression or into long term anxiety or some anxiety disorder. What is the you know few things that we should really be careful about when we see them on ourselves, that we're hitting some kind of very critical point, and it's not just the daily anxiety that we feel, basically on a daily basis.
Mhm. So again, there are two like situations, 2 points in this one. So one is situational and one is long term. So situational, for example, you feeling anxious and I don't know, have like stomachache before the exam again. I don't know why I keep bringing this up with
No
exams, but I
worries.
guess I guess it just speaks to everyone. I think everyone has some kind of exams.
It is
So yeah,
relatable, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So okay, let's leave it as it is. So you have some kind of symptoms, and the worst, the bad thing that can happen is that the symptoms can just start amplifying. So they can get bigger, more intense. So like you feel like pain or nausea, and at some point you can feel like you're going to throw up. You are so anxious that it's just very very bad, or like you feel a little bit anxious and at some point you realize that you are sweating excessively and that you are trembling and things like this. So this is bad, then you definitely need to address it, because again, it's not always you need to do something with your anxiety. Sometimes it is just normal and you can just leave it and say, well, okay, I am anxious right now and this is normal. It doesn't stop me from doing things that I need to do, and I can just be with it. It's okay. It's not all fun and games in our lives, and we don't need to make everything perfect. Don't need to fix everything. So this is the first one. So when you feel amplification of your symptoms, yeah, and one like not so bad, it's not like harmful, no, not dangerous, but not very pleasant symptom is hyperventilation. Because when a person starts hyperventilating, it can actually lead to other problems. So spinning of the head, also yeah, like throwing up and things like this. So not so good. Need to calm yourself. And here breathing techniques, they are just crushing it, definitely. So they are the best for this kind of thing. Even if they don't work in other situations, with hyperventilating, it actually can help. So the other point, yeah, the other thing is long term. Again, actually, it is about amplifying. So if you feel anxious from time to time, yada yada, that is normal. It's just like a course of life again. But if you start catching yourself being anxious more and more, like you see that it is happening more often, then this is something to be worried about, like to check, okay, why? Is there any real problem? Maybe something underlying, maybe something irritates me a lot of the time. And again, is it normal? Is it something that's really irritating, or I am just irritated all the time because of something completely different? Um, Lack of concentration is one of the biggest symptoms, of course. So if it starts affecting your life, really, so you feel that you cannot concentrate right now, then you go just sleep and start over again and everything goes smoothly, then okay. If you realize that you cannot concentrate like for a week, for 2 weeks, and you don't get your work done and you feel bad all the time, then of course it is a problem and you need to check yourself. And also, I wanted to get back to what you said previously. Like, if you cannot deal with it yourself, you need to seek help. And so, this is the biggest difference. If you can deal with it yourself, this is normal, this is okay. If you can't, go find help, then you are not dealing with it, you are not coping with it, and there's nothing wrong to seeking help. Because even depressive episodes can be just healed like by themselves, because they can be again situational. Situation ends and you're okay, and you don't need any help. You're just well, fine. And if it lasts longer, if it's affecting your life, then go find someone to help you.
I agree. I would also like to stress that even though we really are working on Mintment to be a good support to help you ease the symptoms as fast as possible, no app ever would substitute the real professional human help of therapy,
Hmm.
right? Or a psychologist. Or so if you're using Mintment or any other app and it's not working the right way for you, you still struggle. Really, do not wait any longer and contact a professional support, because no app can substitute that. At least for now. Let's see in the future, right? But I think we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Uh, as a society with technology. Okay, Angelina, one last question. Maybe the anxiety is not just about us. Maybe we are not anxious, but we know someone in our surroundings who is anxious. How can we help them when we spot it from all of these symptoms, or maybe they tell us? How can we help them, and what is definitely something we should avoid saying or doing?
Hmm. Well, I want to start with what you should avoid doing when you see someone anxious, and again, or maybe sad, or maybe depressed, or whatever. Just don't say, "Oh, come on, stop feeling this," whatever that is. If it was so simple, we wouldn't be needing psychologists in general. So yeah, no, never devalvate people's feelings. So if someone feels anxious, sad, or again whatever, insert what you need here, they have every right to feel it, even if for you, from your point of view, it's nothing to be worried about. Because again, we all are different, and what one person will experience as very uh, bad and unpleasant, the other one will say, well, yeah, why, okay, it's fine for me. So, what to do? Again, if we are talking about someone close to us, so relative, friend, loved one, we definitely want to make them talk to us. So, the first thing is just to talk about it. Like, just tell me what is worrying you. Because, again, in a lot of situations, we don't understand what we are worried about. Again, personal situation, personal example. Sometimes I feel, yeah, worried, anxious, or sad about something, and I don't even catch it. And my husband sees like my face, and we are together for pretty long time, and he knows like my faces, and he can spot it. And he asks like, "What are you feeling right now? Are you feeling sad?" Sometimes he's wrong. Yeah, he can be wrong, but sometimes it makes me think. Okay, well, yeah, I actually do feel sad. Why? And I start exploring this, and it helps me to find the answer for myself. With anxiety, it's not always we can help our loved ones. Sometimes there's nothing we can actually do. Maybe there is a situation we cannot help, we cannot solve it for them. They need to do it themselves. But we can just be near, we can be with them, we can share their feelings, like contain their feelings. And to share all this and just to say, I hear you, I understand what you're feeling, that can be enough. And also just share some techniques that work for you, because again, every time I say that something is obvious, that I think that everybody knows it, a lot of people actually don't, and this is normal. So we need to share what we know, and some people will say, yeah, wow, this is interesting, I never thought about it, I will try it and maybe it will help me.
I completely agree. You said just be around, and for me that's something important from my personal experience also, when I lived alone for a long time. dark Swedish winters, and yeah, that's the worst contribution to anxiety. It was mid of pandemic, completely alone, nobody around. So definitely, just knowing there is someone by your side, just that feeling, like really, okay, maybe it doesn't erase all the anxiety, but it erases a big portion of it, and especially if it's someone who we can trust and who we know is definitely here to support us. That's amazing. So just being
Mhm.
around and telling the person, okay, we're here whenever you want to grab a coffee and talk about it, or just call me. It's just a good feeling. And a very big help also for the person who struggles with anxiety.
Mhm.
Okay, Angelina. It seems like our first podcast came to an end, or is coming to an end. I have no more questions prepared for you. You provided extremely valuable answers, I believe, and it wasn't something to be as scared about and anxious about as we were right before we started. We were both sharing the same feelings.
Yeah.
So I would just like to say that just briefly, if anyone has some thoughts about what we were telling, or we want to share your experience, share something that works for you, please do share it with us or in the comments. You never know who it can help. It can help uh, all of us here, me, Angelina, but also the people who are reading and watching, reading the comments and watching this video or listening to this podcast. You can also reach out to us at Mintment if you have any idea on improvement or want to just reach out to us. We always will get back to you if you send us an email at care@mintment.co. And yeah, if you want to try Mintment, it's completely free for 3 days. 3 day free trial. Damn. No credit card required, so you can completely secure. Try it and just see if you like it. If you find it helpful, it's I like to say that it's a Swiss Army knife for taking care of your mind. So there's just the tools that you need, and this is all from us, and we are definitely gonna record some other podcasts soon about some other topics. So if you have some suggestions, let us know. Otherwise, we're gonna pick the topic ourselves.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, and see you next time.
See you.